This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. Let me tell you, it's a nice day to be talking Oilers news. Other than it's an absolutely terrible day to be talking Oilers news. It's a tough day in Oilers land. We discussed that last night in the post game. Simply put, Evander Kane, we now have a timetable for recovery. He will be out the next 3 to 4 months with the wrist injury he suffered in the Tampa Bay Lightning game. So we now have at least some kind of diagnosis for what's happening with Evander Kane in the coming days. So a tough go for the Edmonton Oilers, of course, losing Evander Kane and now having to fill the void, I guess is the big word. The void is the big word in Oilers land today. Before we get to that, folks, if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do right now is take the next 5-10 minutes, whatever you can, consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV and staying tuned for more Oilers news to come, more Oilers streams, more everything. Again, I gotta preface that it is on a as-be basis as I can, because no longer is YouTube the thing that rules my life. It is, of course, just something I get to come home and do every once in a while. So, all right. Klim Kostin and Mattias Janmark will get their chance to make their impact on the Edmonton Oilers this season. Janmark, one of the last cap crunch casualties. Thought I was going to trip up there, but I had to really slow down not to. Yeah, one of the last guys to get cut from the Oilers this season simply because of the cap situation, and now he will get a chance to impress thanks to the LTIR money from Evander Kane. So that's a big, big bonus for the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, I guess that is the plus side of Evander Kane being injured, is you lose somebody who is worth a lot of dollars in your lineup. So thankfully that way through you get a chance to go out there and kind of actually add to your roster for the first time this year, right? Mattias Janmark coming up and a guy, so that's we're actually replacing one guy with 1, 2, maybe even 3 guys potentially here in the next day or two for the Oilers, depending what they do on this road trip and when they come home. So that's kind of the crazy part right now, right? Is we're sitting there, okay, cool. We get to add to our roster. We get to kind of throw teams a different look, because for the better part of this season, outside of Brad Malone, it has been the same team up front and on the defense almost all season. I guess Nima Linen came in a couple games later, but it just is what it is at this point. We finally get to shuffle the lines a little bit, kind of mix in some different guys, do some different things with our lineup, and see how it goes for our Edmonton Oilers finally for the first time, really being able to do it this season. Obviously, for the first time this season, that'll mean we have realistically a 13th forward sitting out of action, realistically speaking, which is kind of unreal with this Oilers team, right? We've had 12 for the past little while, but we haven't had that 13 conundrum in a while. And now that'll mean, what do? Do you take Devin Shore, move in both Kostin and, yes, Janmark, give them a look tomorrow night? You could. You absolutely. I don't see why you wouldn't. In fact, Devin Shore, you're losing a penalty killer for potentially 2 penalty killers that you're going to trust this season, especially the way the Oilers deployed the penalty kill against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So keep that in mind, is this is more or less just bolstering the roster for the first time this year. And it sounds weird to be talking about bolstering the roster after losing Evander Kane, but right, we have depth guys that we just simply have not been able to use to this point yet, and now we get a chance to do it right here, right now with this Evander Kane injury. So there is a bright side in every dark cloud, and right now that's what it is, a dark cloud over Edmonton Oilers land, because yeah, Evander Kane's a big loss. A lot of goal scoring happening on his stick so far this year, and guys like Puljujärvi, guys like Yamamoto, guys like Fogel, guys like McLeod are going to have to step up and get that job done for us now here in the next 3 to 4 months, or we will be in a world of hurt. Obviously, yes, would Connor love to just keep scoring a goal per game? 100% he would, and I wouldn't blame him. Hey, go for it, guy. Let's go. I'd love to see what you can do for us. But at the same rate, too, I don't want to be out there losing games because we don't have depth scoring. So that's where these guys are going to have to come in and play a pivotal role for us here in the next little bit. And these guys aren't going to be the guys that are going to be here in 3 to 4 months either, right? You think I was talking with Sam down in the Burbank, is just simply you're going to see a guy like James Hamblin at some point. I guarantee that. You're going to see Philip Broberg come back up when he's healthy. You're going to see different looks. Brad Malone probably gets another look at some point this season. It is now the flexibility we have to move around the pieces for the first time all year. So it's now, you know what? These two get their opportunity to impress now. Tyler Benson comes back in a couple of games. He gets his opportunity. All of a sudden, Xavier Bourgault gets really hot in the AHL. You give him a game or two at the NHL level. You can actually start that shuttle bus back down to Bakersfield that we were told was going to be part of this season to make the depth work with the cap crunch. And now here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to move along and get the job done, which is very nice for our Edmonton Oilers, folks. So that's what we look at, right? For the Oilers right now, it appears as though we're going to be sitting there nice and dandy, being able to make up some roster moves as we go along. Other than that, I really don't think there's much more to add. Obviously, too, I think the big part is going into Carolina, right? You've snapped the skid, and you look at all the other teams sliding on skids, and I want to make a mention of this at the end of this video. You subscribe to Dolynny TV, not for the news, more so for the opinion. And I think the amount of comments I received about how sideways things were the past 3 games prior to Tampa, I gotta say, I really hope some people are looking at that and saying, man, why would I say some of those things? Because end of the day, Calgary's on a 6-game skid, and their commentators, the guys on Flames Nation, the guys on Sportsnet Radio, are asking if they'll ever win again. I know it's a joke question, but they're still asking it, trying to make light of a 6-game losing streak. Penguins, Blues, everybody out there in the NHL has suffered many worse losing streaks so far this year. The Canucks, for instance, than the Oilers' 3-game streak. And everybody, as we lost against the Capitals, my phone was blowing up. And I'm like, guys, this is not the time to panic. Simply put, 3 games, and I made mention of this in the post game last night. If you win 5 out of 8 games in the NHL, you're on pace for 100 points in a season. I'm sorry. That makes the playoffs 99 out of 100. So that's where I want to make a correction there and tell you guys, I'm sorry. I don't reply to comments anymore, but that really made me feel just really disappointed in a lot of folks just falling off the cliff more or less because of the Oilers losing 3 games when there's nothing to it that early in the season. Yeah, okay, it reaches 7 games in a row. Let's panic. But 3 games in a row after winning 5, I did not feel any of that was justified. So to anyone looking for a reply on their comment over the past 4 or 5 days, that's my reply there. Nobody's concern with losing 3 in a row was really actually justified. I get some things were, but nothing to the effect of losing 3 in a row was really justified with this Oilers team this early on. Secondary to that, I had a comment come in today as I'm just kind of taking my time to do housekeeping, I guess. Fancy camera, right? We do housekeeping on the fancy camera. That's what we do. But more or less, I guess what I want to mention is I did not mention it in the post game. Ryan Murray in that third period did have a game saving and went to review. It was offside. It was all kinds of turned around that play, but Ryan Murray swept a puck off the goal line that some might argue crossed in midair, but it was one of those things right there for the Oilers. It was a small play that would have come back on the offside anyway, but end of the day, he still was there making that play. And for a guy that a lot of folks have given a hard time to early on in his Oilers career, he made a play last night that went unacknowledged in the postgame, and I just want to say I did see it, and I do want to make mention of it right now. Folks, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thanks so much for tuning in on the Wednesday night edition. We'll be live over on Klim Kostin this evening for the first period of the Ducks and Wild game. So if you want to come over to Klim Kostin tonight, I'll put the live stream link in the video section or video comments section of this video, and you can come on over and play a little bit of hockey with us on a different broadcast than just the Oilers. Again, I'm Tyson, Dolynny TV, up on Oda here.